Yo, top of the morning to you, wealth champions. Where are all of my hustlers at? St. Louis hustlers, international hustlers, worldwide hustlers. Welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I'm your boy, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur from myperfectmoneyplan.com. Super excited to have you tune in with us this morning as we do what we do each and every Monday morning. Try to give you some information, some inspiration, some motivation to get your week started off right. We got a wonderful show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about news every hustler can use. Of course, I've got a new segment, and in fact, we might just do the whole show around this topic, becoming the millionaire next door, based on the popular book by Thomas J. Stanley, PhD, and William D. Danko. There's a lot of things that I found out that led to millionaire success that I had absolutely no clue about. We actually had the show slated for infinite banking, and my guest for today is having some technical difficulties, so it looks like I'm going to have to pivot and push that show back until we can get that thing figured out. I'll give you some tips and kind of help you get an overall overview of what the infinite banking concept is. But I am not the expert. I do have my PDF copy of Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash pulled up. So perhaps we can get into a little bit of that today. But I'm excited that you guys are all here today. So what I'm going to do is roll my handy dandy disclaimer, and then we're going to get started with the show right after this. The Cortez Hustle Show is a copyrighted production of iHustle Media Group. Any unauthorized use of the video, audio, captions, depictions of this show without express written consent of iHustle Media Group is strictly prohibited. iHustle Media Group, a better way to market.
And now back to the Cortez Hustle Show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. I'm your boy, Cortez Hustle, and we're coming to you live and direct from the Monetize My Life studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, I wrote this book, and I want to give it to you absolutely free. All you do is cover the shipping. It's called Monetize My Life, 4 incredibly simple ways to turn your passions into profit with little to no startup cost. Ladies and gentlemen, you've all been given a gift, talent, or special ability by your creator. And he gave you that gift so that it makes room for you at the top. So you fulfill his purpose. Why not get paid for it? All you got to do is go to monetizemylifenow.com. Again, that's monetizemylifenow.com. And you, my friend, can get a copy of that book for free. You just cover shipping and we'll get it out to you. What's going on? Reynolds Crystal on IG. Welcome to the stream. Guys, do me a huge favor. As you're coming on, go ahead and comment in the chat where you're from. Also, drop the name of your business and or your brand. Do not drop any links. And I would love to give you a free business shout out. Living Financially Prosperous LLC is in the building. Welcome. Big Black's Barbecue is also in the building. Welcome to the stream this morning. Now, let's hop over to our handy dandy screen share, where I like to do a segment called News Every Hustler Can Use. So basically what I do is I hop over to Black Enterprise Magazine, and I like to see what's going on in the world of entrepreneurship. So let's hop over there real quick and see what's going on. Let's see. This Black-owned vegan soul restaurant is expanding to 3 new locations. Wow, that is that's dope, because given our current situation, this restaurant is out of California, and California is having the roughest time of most states as it comes to coronavirus, and as a result, they're shut down in a lot of places. And to see an entrepreneur in a restaurant business thriving and expanding, that should inspire you, man. That should encourage and uplift you if you're an entrepreneur. This woman launched a virtual postpartum doula service for Black mothers. Guys, I keep telling y'all, man, if you have a gift or a talent, you can turn that thing into a business no matter what it is. Somebody somewhere is looking for your services and willing to pay you for it. So that's one that I'm interested in checking out. I'm not sure what all comes in being a doula, but I'm sure it is something worth checking out. Master P teams up with BET on new documentary series on the No Limit Chronicles. I think that's a smart move. I know at one point he was looking at doing an actual feature film on his No Limit empire, very much like Straight Outta Compton, but it looks like he's making a pivot and going to do a series of shows for BET called the No Limit Chronicles instead of a feature film. So I'm not sure if he's still going to do that or not. But nevertheless, what else do we have? This entrepreneur owns Pennsylvania's first and only Black-owned distillery. Guys, this is something that we ought to get more into, man. I'll tell you something else that we ought to get into, right? So distilleries make alcohol, right? And, strong drink. Why on earth, if we some of the biggest connoisseurs of tobacco products, aren't we creating and getting into that lane as well? That's something that I've always wondered. Maybe, in the next couple of years when I get my 1,000-acre farm, maybe I'll devote a little bit of the acreage to tobacco, man. And maybe y'all can buy y'all blunt wrappings from Thornton Enterprises or something. I don't know. Here's another Black-owned food delivery service app is expanding to Atlanta, GA. That's something that has been needed for a while. So I'm glad to see two fronts. A service that allows us to find Black-owned restaurants and have their food delivered, but also getting into app development and technology that is huge, man. So kudos to this entrepreneur as well. And last but not least, this woman entrepreneur created a curated gift box to discover Black-owned businesses and brands. That's also pretty dope because you can have this gift box shipped to your door, and it's got a little sample of something from several different Black-owned businesses that you might want to do business with yourself. So that's pretty cool, man. Hopefully she has a lot of success with that. And I have to reach out and figure out what I need to do to get my business in that gift box. Good morning, good morning, good morning. TDR Financial LLC is in the building as well. Welcome to the stream this morning. Glad to have you here. So that, my friends, was news every hustler can use, brought to you by myperfectmoneyplan.com. Listen, if you are looking for a money plan that's going to help you, A, give yourself an instant pay raise on your current job, B, improve your credit, C, help you get out of debt in record time, and D, acquire and accumulate assets, then you want to go to myperfectmoneyplan.com. And guess what? If you become a member, they're giving away a 3-night luxury getaway stay. All you got to do is go to myperfectmoneyplan.com. Check out that membership. It's very affordable. And it's a team of professionals that will help you do everything that you need to do in your finances. It is the membership or the team of people that all wealthy people have in their corner, myperfectmoneyplan.com. So originally we scheduled for a guest, Curtis May from Practical Wealth Advisors LLC, to come on to the show and talk to us about the infinite banking concept. He experienced some technical difficulties, couldn't get him on. I'm going to try to have him back on later at a later date to really break down what infinite banking is. But let me see if I pull up my my infinite banking handbook. Maybe I can help y'all understand what infinite banking concept is, but I want to get it right. So I don't want to, let's see here. I might already have it open for y'all. All right, I do. So let's see. What is the infinite banking concept and becoming your own bank? Becoming Your Own Banker, the Infinite Banking Concept, is a text for a 10-hour course of instruction about the power of dividend-paying whole life insurance. It is not a sales tool for life insurance agents. It is the education that the life insurance industry should have taught during the last 200 years. So let me see if I can get the complete definition for you guys of what the infinite banking concept is and what it's all about. I don't know if this is going to do, but basically infinite banking says that instead of saving your money in a traditional savings account, you're going to save it in a mutual company that offers that pays dividends. This is whole life insurance, and where your policy is structured more for cash than it is for death benefit. And what that does is it allows you to save money, grow at a faster, more safe and secure rate of return than any other vehicle out there, probably outside of real estate. But it's liquid. You have access to your capital, which is one of the things that we need in our community. And this is one of the ways that we can get it and we can build it up ourselves and stop making the excuse that banks aren't lending to us. And I say an excuse because that is usually where we go and where we do an about face and we tend to shut everything down, right? In terms of, I want to build a business, I want to start a nonprofit, I want to do this, I want to do this. But the minute we go to the bank and the bank says, no, we can't give you access to capital, then we kill all of our dreams. But if you understand this concept, then you can start building your own capital and become your own bank and have access to capital yourself. And then if you understand the group economics principle, maybe 5 of your closest buddies, 10 of your closest buddies, 15 of your closest buddies can all have infinite banking concept working in their lives. And now you all have access to capital, right? So someone made the comment, if some authoritative power distributed all the money in the world equally among all the people in the world within 10 years time, 97% of all the money will be back under the control of 3% of the people. I suppose that there is no way ever to measure the validity of such a statement, but I have the feeling that most people would agree that it is probably close to truth. Even if the proportions were somewhat moderated, say 75% of the money would be under control of 25% of the people. Why do you think this phenomenon happens? Guys, I so happen to believe that is true, that if you broke down and took all the money on the planet and you spread it out evenly amongst all the people on the planet, it won't take long at all before all of that money is back into the hands of 5, maybe 10% of the population. Why? Because financial literacy is something that is very, very, very powerful, but it's something that is not taught. And most people have no clue how this economy works, not just in America, but around the world. It is based on commerce. It is based on entrepreneurship. It's based on industry. It is based on your ability to solve people's problems for a price. A lot of people are not understanding that. And as a result, if you split up all the money in the world, divide it evenly amongst all the people, it will find its way back to the hands of those who are industrious, those who are entrepreneurial in their thought process, those who do understand financial concepts, those who do understand capitalism and how this economy actually works. So, new segment, guys, called Becoming the Millionaire Next Door. So I don't know if you guys have ever picked up this best-selling book, The Millionaire Next Door, but it breaks down the surprising secrets of America's wealthy. There are 7 core things that all wealthy people have in common, but then it goes into great detail and into percentages so that you can understand what these 7 factors are and how you can apply these factors in your life. Some of them are very simple and easy to understand, a little harder to actually execute, but simple nevertheless. Number 1, the millionaires next door. And basically, the breakdown of this book is these 2 gentlemen, PhD, Thomas Stanley and William Danko, also PhD, studied thousands of millionaires to find out exactly what they are doing. And the reason they call it the millionaire next door, y'all, is because chances are you could literally be living to a millionaire next door and not even know it. Because what we think a millionaire looks like is often not. In fact, the people who look like millionaires are often some of the brokest people on the planet. And some of the brokest looking people on the planet have some of the best and well accumulated amount of assets. So number 1, these 7 factors are: they live below their means. No surprise there, right? If you're going to become a millionaire, what you have to do is focus on what's called your cash flow. A lot of people focus on their income, but I want you to think about something. Most people income is coming from their job, and you get to a job and your income typically doesn't change from year to year. Only changes from year to year when you get your so-called cost of living increase, right? What is it that you could be doing on a month-to-month, week-to-week basis, though, to improve your financial life? You could be focusing on your cash flows. What is your cash flow? Your cash flow is the income minus expenses and debts that you have to pay, and whatever you have left over is cash flow. Now, I get it. Some of you guys are saying, well, Cortez, if that's what cash flow is, I don't have any to focus on. Well, that's what I mean, is you have to focus on building it up, because everybody has the ability to improve their cash flow right this very second. You don't believe me? Cut your cable out. That'll instantly improve your cash flow by $50 to $150, depending on how much your cable bill is, right? Cut out Netflix. That will instantly improve your cash flow by $14, $15 per month. Reduce your cell phone plan. That will instantly improve your cash flow. Pay off a debt. Instantly improve. See, we just don't focus on the right numbers. Focus on your cash flow. Look at all of your expenses, all of your bills, right? Look at them on a month-to-month basis. And when I say look at where your money is going, I don't mean do a mental picture of where you think your money is going. I need you to pull out your bank statements and go over those jokers line by line, because what you will find is where you think your money is going and where your money is actually going is often 2 different things, guys. You want to improve your cash flow? Stop eating out so much. I'm just saying, this is how, when you're focused on the right number, there are always solutions, right? You can live below your means. You know what living below your means, why that is so tough? Is because we're social creatures, y'all. We're social creatures, and because we're social creatures, we wanted to be accepted by general society, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, except in order to be accepted by most circles of people, You have to dress a certain way. You have to drive a certain car. You have to spend your money a certain way. You have to do certain things that cost you unnecessary expenditures in order to be accepted. It's not socially acceptable, guys, to drive a paid for car for 15 years. That's not socially acceptable. What's socially acceptable is you drive a car for 3 or 4 years and you trade up and you have a perpetual car note. You know who made that socially acceptable for us? The banks that plan to finance said car, right? So we've got to understand that in order for you to build wealth, is going to require, in a lot of cases, that you go against the grain. And it's not easy to do. So number one, living below your means. These are 7 factors, right? Who wants to become wealthy? Usually the wealthy individual is a businessman who has lived in the same town for all his adult life. This person owns a small factory, a chain of stores, a service company. He has married once and remained married. He lives next door to people with a fraction of his wealth. He is a compulsive saver and investor, and he has made his money on his own. 80% of Americans millionaires are first generation rich. Man, that ought to make some of y'all shout this morning. Makes me shout. You know why? Because it tells me that because I was born to a single mom on welfare and we struggle financially, I do not have to continue to live down this road. I do not. See, if 80% of all wealthy people are first generation wealthy, then that means I've got a shot, even though I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth, right? Affluent people typically follow a lifestyle conducive to accumulating money. In the course of our investigation, we discovered 7 common denominators among those who successfully build wealth. They live below their means is number 1, right? They live below their means. What are you doing to get your expenses down? One of the ways that you can get one of your biggest expenses down, which is taxes, is to strongly consider entrepreneurship. It's how you get your biggest expense down, which is taxes, because as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, even though you have a full-time job, you can legally, ethically, and morally lower your taxes. Save money on taxes, then use that money to start paying off your debt. Now you're freeing up your money and increasing your cash flow, because every time you pay off a debt, it's like giving yourself a pay raise, right? Number 2, they allocate their time, energy, and money efficiently in ways conducive to building wealth. Wow. Where is your time, energy, and money mostly spent? Is it spent on the pursuit of wealth? Are you devoting your time, energy, and effort into things that is building wealth? There's a saying in our industry that you get what you focus on. Most people do not focus on wealth building principles, wealth building activity, wealth building strategies. A, we were never taught this stuff. B, even those of us who were taught it, again, we're social creatures, so we're trying to be socially accepted. And instead of me staying home and reading a book like The Millionaire Next Door, when my friends call and say, hey, let's go to the bowling alley, hey, let's go play some softball, hey, let's go to the gym and hoop it up, I want to be accepted by them. So I'm spending my time, energy, and effort doing those things instead of wealth building activities. Ladies and gentlemen, you can build wealth. You can build wealth. What are other seven, another one of the 7 common factors, guys? They believe that financial independence is more important than displaying high social status. See, remember I said that we're social creatures, and if you are going to build wealth, you are going to have to go against the grain. See, everything in this society is telling you that if you make some money, you should be showing and displaying that you make some money. If you make 6 figures a year and you don't drive a foreign luxury car, then that's not socially acceptable. Even if you can't afford that foreign luxury car, right? Wealthy people, people who are truly wealthy, they believe that financial independence is more important than displaying high social status. Poor and middle class people tend to display high social status because we've been taught to fake it till you make it. We've been taught that if you look the part, then it's going to magically make you attract to you those things. That's not what attraction, the law of attraction is all about. It's about steadying your mindset on the things that you want, focusing intensely with your energy, money, and time to build those things. And as you are putting forth those efforts, the things that you want are starting, or the resources that you need to build those things are starting to find their way into your life. Are you spending more money, more time, energy, and effort trying to display a high social status? Or are you keeping a low profile, and every dime that you get, is it going into you, my friend, trying to become financially independent? Number 4, their parents did not provide economic outpatient care. Wait, what? We're talking about 7 factors that wealthy people have in common. According to the Millionaire Next Door, these are 7 common factors. Their parents did not provide economic outpatient care. I remember studying a guy by the name of Stephen Larson, and he does a lot of the things that I do in terms of online marketing, network marketing, building sales funnels, and using digital platforms to build his wealth. And I remember him telling us a story about him being broke and struggling and living on college loans as a young man. And he went to his dad and asked his dad, "Can you float me a $3,000 loan? As soon as our student loans come in, we'll pay you back." And his dad told him no. His dad told him no. One of the best things that could happen to him, but he didn't understand it. His dad said, "If I loan you the money, you will not exhaust all the resources at your disposal to come up with it on your own." So these people had parents that did not coddle them. These people had parents who did not have, either they did not have the means, or they just wasn't giving it to the kid to provide some economic outpatient care. Are we spoiling our children today? Or are we making it virtually impossible for them to become resourceful young adults? See, I believe that there is not a lack of resources in anybody's life. And 90% of the cases, lack of resources is not the problem. You know what the problem is? Lack of resourcefulness. It's not lack of resources, it's lack of resourcefulness, because we're waiting on somebody else to come solve our problems for us. As a kid, I grew up tinkering around with bikes and things of that nature. I just love to take things apart and put them back together and see if I could fix stuff. And my mom never had any tools around the house. So my flathead screwdriver was a butter knife. My Phillips screwdriver was a steak knife, right? Because it had a little point, so you can angle it a certain way and you can get most Phillips screws out with a steak knife, right? And we had a pair of pliers. When I tell you guys that I've done more in terms of fixing bikes and being handy with a hammer, a pair of pliers, a butter knife, and a steak knife than a lot of people have done with a full toolkit. Why? Because when you grow up without money, when you grow up without resources, and yet you have a certain level of ambition, it creates a resourcefulness in you. And you realize that there is never a lack of resources as long as you are resourceful. Since every parent has a responsibility to teach their children the way so they don't have to ask for the money. I agree with you there, man. That's the whole purpose of parenting and grooming them in a way that they can stand on their own, and teaching them how to be resourceful instead of having to count on you as a resource. So we're going to go through numbers 4 through 7 on the other side of this break. You guys are tuning in to the Cortez Hustle Show. Keep it locked right here.
Hey, good morning, wealth champions. Hey, listen, if you want to be financially successful, then you have to do what financially successful people do. And I know there's a few things that all wealthy people have in common. Number one, they understand that building wealth is a team sport. Number two, they understand the power of capitalism and business enterprise. Number three, they love to use systems and leverage. And number four, they all have mentors. My name is H. Cortez, also known as Financial Health Mentor. And for the last 5 years, I've been helping hardworking Americans get all of these things in place with one single membership. If you want to learn more about that, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com. Again, that's myperfectmoneyplan.com. And you're going to get a team of professionals, so you're not building wealth by yourself. You're going to get a system that's going to help you transform your finances. And last but not least, you're going to get some great mentorship to help you execute your game plan. So again, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. And we are talking about 7 traits that the Millionaire Next Door research team discovered when they interviewed thousands of millionaires. And this is a good read, man, for any and everybody. So these 7 factors: number 1, they live below their means. No surprise there. Number 2, they allocate their time, energy, and money efficiently in ways conducive to building wealth, right? Building wealth is on people's mind, man, and that's how they go get it. People ask me all the time, Cortez, that's all you do is focus on money. That's all you do is talk about money. Yes, necessity is the mother of invention. It absolutely is, man. There's no doubt about that. Number 3, they believe that financial independence is more important than displaying high social status. That is a huge, huge, huge deal. That is certainly right. Number 4, their parents did not provide economic outpatient care. So that was another one of those things where they taught them how to be resourceful and not how to depend on handouts. Number 5, this is interesting because of number 4. Number 5 says the adult children are economically self-sufficient. So all of these people are wealthy. Because of the way they thought, because of the way they behaved and what they focused on, the way they raised their children to not need economic outpatient care, they ended up raising adult children who are economically self-sufficient, right? That is critical because I didn't do that with some of my children. And as a result, it's slowing down my pursuit of wealth because they are unstable financially. So I can certainly see how if you're trying to be wealthy and you've got adult children who are not standing on their own 2 feet and you're always helping them, propping them up, that's money that could be going towards your investments. That's money that could be transforming your finances. But instead, if you didn't do a good job of teaching your children how to be self-sufficient, you didn't do a good job of teaching your children how to be resourceful, you didn't do a good job of teaching your children how to stand on their own 2 feet, could drag you down like a weight as you are trying to pursue your own wealth endeavors, right? That is huge. Number 6, they are proficient in targeting market opportunities. Man, listen, again, that resourcefulness, that creativity, that imagination that comes with building from scratch. There is opportunity, guys, all around us. Was in the grocery store the other day, had to go pick up some disposable masks, and I'm looking at all of the no-name brand hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes and sprays that are on the shelves these days. See, somebody is taking full advantage of an opportunity that has presented itself with all of the Lysol and the name brand stuff being taken off the shelves. Number 6, he said, repeat number 6, they are proficient in targeting market opportunities, proficient in being able to recognize an opportunity when you see it. And because they did the right things with their money, they're also able to take advantage of the opportunities, right? It's kind of like we know that we are stuck in this quarantine, right? And while a lot of people, my heart goes out to the people who have lost jobs. My heart goes out to the people who have gotten their hours cut. And as a result, they're struggling financially, right? But everybody's not losing during this quarantine. The founders of Zoom, the application that allows you to do video conferencing and things of that nature, their worth has skyrocketed to almost $50 billion. Why? Because they're providing a solution. They're worth more than all of the major airlines combined right now because their solution is more important, it's more practical, it's more in use than the airline industry during this time right now. Are you able to recognize opportunities when you see them? And not only recognize them, do you have the courage to pursue them? I got people in my life, man, who have known me to be willing to take risks, right? Know me to be a guy that I'm not scared to put my money out there. I'm not scared to put my time out there. I'm not scared to put my energy out there. I'm not afraid to fall flat on my face in the pursuit of building wealth for my family. So because people know this about me, they will see what they perceive as a good idea and they'll bring it to me because what they're hoping is that I would take it and run with it, which would give them courage to jump on the bandwagon or piggyback. But no, I already got a game plan that I'm focused on. Some of these people actually have the nerve to get mad at me for not picking up their idea and running with it. And they never pick the idea up and run with it themselves, right? I'm like, yes, that's a great idea. You should fully pursue that. You should put all of your energy, time, and effort into that and make it work. Nah, man, that's something better for you. I already got something going on. Now they mad. Can you recognize opportunities when you see them? How many people do you guys know that are selling masks right now? Right? People are taking advantage of an opportunity. I've got a good buddy who is very, very good at pivoting, Evan Jefferson. I'll put a link to his website. Maybe you want to buy some of his branded masks. He's gone so far with the mask that he's not only just selling the practical, the K95 mask, the disposable mask. He's now getting the mask printed up with school logos, with fraternity and sorority logos. I mean, able to recognize an opportunity when he sees one. And he's taking full advantage of it. Wealthy people, number 6, they are proficient in targeting market opportunities. When they see it, they target it, they go get it, and they make it happen. And as a result, they're building massive amounts of wealth because of their ability to do this. Number 7, they chose the right occupation. They chose the right occupation. And this one actually means a few different things. When you get into the book, it actually goes into great detail on some of the numbers and how it breaks down a lot of this stuff. But choosing the right occupation, a lot of people think that it's always about choosing an occupation where there's a high amount of income, right? That's not always the case. Sometimes choosing the right occupation is choosing a job that pays you enough to pay the bills, but also gives you enough flexibility to do your own thing. See, before I was able to walk away from my job and do this full time, I had a job that gave me a great amount of flexibility. I didn't have to be at work until 9 a.m. So a lot of times I was up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I would put in 2 hours of worth of work in my own business before I went to the job. They allowed me a lot of flexibility. I could be on my phone. I could be watching YouTube videos. So I was learning and growing. I had the ability to get up and move about. I wasn't tethered to a cubicle, so to speak. I had a 45-minute to an hour lunch break. So that gave me a lot of flexibility to build my business while I was working on the job. It wasn't about the amount of money I was making on the job, because the flexibility for me was more important. Choosing the right occupation isn't always about the amount of money. Sometimes the right occupation is putting you in an environment where you can meet a lot of people, the right people that can help you in your pursuit of building and doing your own thing. Sometimes the right occupation is the ability to network, because that occupation puts you in the right places. So it's more than just the amount of money. Sometimes the occupation, and going back to the shift, sometimes you have an occupation where you work 3 nights on and you get 4 days off, but you do 3 12-hour shifts. So you can't hardly do anything in your business on those 3 days off, but you got 4 full days to really run your business. They pick the right occupation. Sometimes the occupation isn't about the money, but it's about the experience that you're gaining, because you can see yourself running your own thing. So for instance, maybe you went to school to be an auto body technician, right? And your first job is at some small mom and pop auto body shop where they can't afford to pay you a whole lot, but they can teach you the game. They can help you gain a lot of experience. So even though you're not making the money, you're getting the experience, you're getting the knowledge. They're not only teaching you the game on how to do what you do technically, but they're also teaching you the game on how to run your own shop someday. So you got to understand and have the right perspective and know what is really valuable. Choosing the right occupation isn't always about the money, y'all. There's a lot of other fringe benefits that comes with choosing the right occupation. So, Portrait of a Millionaire, man. Let's look at some of these stats. And this is something that I revert to quite frequently because it helps me mentally stay on task, right? It says, this is a portrait of a millionaire. I'm gonna give you some of these stats and then we'll get out of here. I am a 57-year-old male, married with 3 children. About 70% of us earn 80% or more of our household's income. These are the millionaire. This is what a millionaire looks like. The average millionaire, 57 years old, married with 3 children. They earn about 70%. 70% of them earn 80% of the household income. Most of them have stay-at-home wives or wives that work part-time, right? About 1 in 5 of us is retired. About 2/3 of us who are working are self-employed. Interestingly, self-employed people make up less than 20% of the workers in America, but account for 2/3 of the millionaires. Listen. So I'll replace that with choosing amazing paying situations. Yeah, that's that too. Doesn't always have to be a job. Doesn't always have to be, an occupation, so to speak. And it could be income, right? But it could be a way that you say, hey, I need a ton of money, but this job is going to pay me a ton of money for 3 weeks of an intense work, but then I'm going to be off for 3 weeks, right? Could be a lot of scenarios, but so he's referring to number 7, where they chose the right occupation. And he said he'll replace that with choosing amazing paying situations, which that works for me as well. Well, watch this. He said 80 self-employed people make up less than 20% of the workers in America, but they account for 2/3 of the millionaires. So when y'all see me on my soapbox and I'm preaching about entrepreneurship, do your own thing, have your own business, run your own shop, call your own shots. That's why, guys. That's why. You got to pay attention to the vehicle sometimes. Sometimes it's the driver, but a lot of times we got good drivers that are driving the crap out of bad vehicles, right? Nothing wrong with a job. Having a job only, I think there's a problem. Having a job only for 40 years, I think that is a big problem because you're setting yourself up for failure, right? So these are portraits of a millionaire. It says many of the types of businesses we are in could be classified as dull normal. We are welding contractors, auctioneers, rice farmers, owners of mobile home parks, pest controllers, coin and stamp dealers, and paving contractors. These are millionaires now, but they don't have high-profile jobs and businesses. They got income-producing businesses. They've got asset-building businesses. About half of our wives do not work outside the home. The number 1 occupation for those that do work outside the home is a teacher. Interesting. See, it's all about the plan. It's all about the setup. It's all about the game. Listen, honey, if you can keep the house straight, if you can keep the books straight, I'll go and get the money. If you can be resourceful enough to figure out how we can live off 60% of our income, invest 30, and give the Lord 10, however we got to scrimp by to make that happen. If you can focus on that, I'm going to go out and get the money. What is your plan like with your spouse? Do you even have a plan? Do y'all sit down together? Y'all really a team? Or is her money, and his money, his money? Right? Our household's total annual realized taxable income is $131,000, median or 50th percentile, while our average income is $247,000. Note, those of us who have income in the $500 to $999,000 category, which is only 8%, and then 1 million or more are only 5%. So what is it saying? Listen, guys, a lot of times we think, could you repeat the businesses they typically operate? Oh, yes. So the businesses they typically operate would be classified as dull. They are welding contractors, auctioneers, rice farmers, owners of mobile home parks. That's something that I certainly want to get into. Pest controllers, coin and stamp dealers, and paving contractors. See, these are all those jobs that before they took the trades out of the high schools, a lot of these are the things that we would have learned in high school. And we would have got out of high school, got us some experience, and before long, we'd had our own businesses in the trade that we were in. But they took the trades out of high school and funneled everybody into university and college. Then you come out of university and college with all sorts of debt. Got to take the first job that you're handed, even if it's not in your field, because you got to start paying back the debt. Then you go out and get you a house. Now you're mortgaged to the house and the student loan. You got a job you don't even like, not in your field, but you can't really transition from one job to the next because you might lose pay for a month, far behind on your. Y'all see how being socially engineered and this society, man, they all have business where they can apply leverage. Yes, that is very true. All right. So it says about 50% of them have incomes of 131,000, which is their taxable income. Their pre-tax income is about 250,000, right? But their taxable is about 31,000. So these people are millionaires, guys, and they don't have $1 million a year in income. What is that telling you? It's telling you that they manipulate their cash flow in a way. Remember what cash flow is. It's the amount of money left over after you pay all your bills. They're using that cash flow to buy assets, and those assets are appreciating over time. So even though they only have 130 to 250,000 in income, they're still millionaires because of what they're doing with their cash flow. We have an average household net worth of about 3.7 million. Of course, some of our cohorts have accumulated much more. Nearly 6% have a net worth of over 10 million. Again, these people skew our average upward. The typical median or 50th percentile millionaire household has a net worth of about 1.6 million. Wait a minute, Cortez, you just said that they're only making about 131,000 in taxable income per year, and yet they got net worths of 1.6. Exactly. It's what they're doing with their cash flow. That's the important part, y'all. What are you doing with your cash flow? Here's the psychology of most working class people. I work so flipping hard for this money. And when I finally got all my bills paid, whatever is left over, I'm going to kick it because I deserve it. And guys, I'm not saying you don't deserve it. I'm not saying I don't feel the same thing. I'm saying that my pursuit of financial independence is more important than an outward display of financial status. That's all I'm saying. Plus the assets for the business write-offs. Yes. That's huge. Huge, huge. So the average median net worth is 3.7, but that's because you got the deca millionaires and the mega millionaires and the billionaires skewing the number up. But the typical millionaire household is about worth 1.6 million. On average, our total annual realized income is less than 7% of our wealth. In other words, we live on less than 7% of our wealth. They're frugal. They're frugal. Now, some of you guys who might follow someone like a Grant Cardone, he can't stand this book, right? He can't stand it because he is an alpha male. He is very, very aggressive. This is a book for people who are more reserved, people who are less risk takers, have a lower risk tolerance, right? You can become a millionaire by strategizing your way to wealth. He's more of a produce your way to wealth. He's going to go out and make enough money in sales, and then I'm going to flip that money and flip that money. These people are saying, hey, I'm going to work hard, pull myself up by my bootstraps, and I'm going to be very tactical with every dime that comes into my household. Most of us, 97%, are homeowners. We live in homes currently valued at an average of $320,000. About half of us have occupied the same home for more than 20 years. Thus, we have enjoyed a significant increase in the value of our homes. Another huge, huge point. They've been in their houses for 20, 25 years. That means every time they got a pay raise, they didn't go and get a bigger house. Every time the business took off and started doing a little bit well, they didn't go out and buy more stuff. Poor and middle class people are trained that every time your income increases, your lifestyle increases. That's called lifestyle creep. You keep letting your lifestyle creep up with your income, therefore you just remain broke at a higher level. Most of us have felt at a disadvantage because we did not receive any inheritance. Again, about 80% of us are first generation wealthy. Or I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It says most of us have never felt at a disadvantage because we didn't receive an inheritance. Guys, I grew up on welfare, right? No disrespect to my mom. She was heavily involved in the church, trying to get our spiritual right. We had a lot of stuff going on in our household. So that was the best thing for us to get our relationship with God right. But I do not feel like I'm at a disadvantage because I don't have an inheritance, because we grew up on welfare and food stamps. In fact, I think that's what gave me the grit, the internal fortitude to do what I'm doing today. Just me. Some people feel entitled, right? Nah, don't nobody owe me nothing, but I'm going to take everything I can, right? We live well below our means. We wear inexpensive suits and drive American-made cars. Only a minority of us drive the current model year automobile. Only a minority ever lease our motor vehicles. So there's a lot more to this book, man, but we are at the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and cut it off there. But man, when you understand the real portrait of a millionaire, in terms of what we tend to do is we see the people who have been millionaires for years, and we see how they're living, and we're trying to imitate that lifestyle. I think we need to be paying more attention. The name of this book is The Millionaire Next Door. The Millionaire Next Door, by Thomas J. Stanley, PhD, and William D. Danko, PhD. It's a great read, man. It helps people, especially those who are partnered with what we do, helps us understand what real asset is, what cash flow management can really do, what leveraging debt can really do in terms of how to actually build real, lasting, sustainable wealth. And we've been taught, and that's why they show us the flashy, flashy, flashy millionaires, because when we make six figures, we're going to go spend all our six figures trying to look like the flashy, flashy millionaire. We never invest any of the six figures to actually become a real millionaire. But if more of us knew that people like this existed, and more of us knew that, hey, you can go buy a 10-acre plot of land for $20,000, and you build one structure on that 10-acre plot of land that you bought for $20,000, that one structure will make that 10-acre plot of land worth $400,000. We don't understand real wealth building principles and strategies. And I will be the first to admit that I'm not wealthy yet, but I'm getting there. And all of the things that I'm studying and I'm doing, I bring them to you guys on a show like this so that you can come on the journey with me. Sometimes we see and we hear a Robert Kiyosaki, we see and hear a Grant Cardone, we see and hear a lot of these wealthy individuals, and they're telling us what to do, but we sometimes get intimidated because they've already made it. And sometimes they're not relatable. Man, come on this journey with me. Let's walk side by side and let's build wealth together. That's what I'm about. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beyond the top of the hour. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in to the Cortez Hustle Show. Till I talk to y'all next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. Could you repeat that, brother? 10 plot of land and any. Oh yeah. So before we get out of here, I had a question to come in. Most people don't understand that land is a lot easier to acquire than real estate. Real estate is the land with the structures that already exist and all that stuff. You can go Google how to buy raw land. You can easily buy 10 acres of land at $500 an acre, right? So that would be $20,000 for 10 acres of land or something like that. But whenever you put a structure on those 10 acres, then the value dramatically increases, right? So if I had a 10-acre plot of land and it was raw, and I built a little road up to that land, and I built me a small house on that land, now that 10 acres magically become worth $300,000-$400,000, even though I only paid $20,000 for it, even though I only paid $30,000 for it, right? But most of us, we have been conditioned to only see building wealth one way. I'll give you an example. A guy I follow is an urban farmer, right? He grows his own food, tries to live off the grid and all that kind of stuff. He went out and identified 15 acres of land that he wanted to buy. He could not afford to buy all 15 acres, but what he noticed that on the 15 acres of land, there was a bunch of trees. So he negotiated an owner financing deal with the person who was selling them the land. He put a couple $1,000s down, and he was going to finance the rest of the land. So the landowner thought, you know what he did? The minute he took ownership of the land, he called the tree service in, and they felled all the trees, and he sold them that lumber, and that gave him enough money to not only buy the 7 acres that he was on outright, to also buy the other 7 acres. There's not a lack of resources, guys. There's a lack of resourcefulness. He put $2,000 down and ended up with 15 acres of land. Because when he got the first 7, he cut the trees down, sold the lumber, took the money that he got from selling the lumber, and then turned around and bought the rest of the land. And now he owns the land outright. Guys, the landowner didn't even realize that he could have sold all those trees and had that money for himself. It's not a lack of resources, lack of resourcefulness. That's the problem. So thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time, peace out.